Can a guy with almost zero experience pull a motor out of a vehicle? Well, today we're about to find out. This is my 1996 Dodge Dakota that we have been tearing into and restoring over the last year. With the bodywork being almost completely done, it's now time to tear into the heart of this beast. We are pulling the 4-cylinder out and getting this engine bay ready to drop in the new V8. Make sure you roast me down in the comments if there's something I'm doing completely wrong. I'm not going to be using any of the computer or this engine again. So if I end up cutting some stuff, so be it, but I'm going to try and do it as best as possible. Just going to kind of go for it. That's what you got to do. You just got to work on your stuff. Start by draining the fluids out of it, get the radiator drained, get that out of it, and then just start plucking away at it, see what we can get into. Can an idiot like myself pull motor out of a truck? We're about to find out. Let's get to it.
All right. Got the old drain plug loose. Plain and simple. All right, let's let that drain, and we'll see what it takes to maybe get the radiator out and let this drain out. Oh boy. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna pull both of the hoses off. I'm gonna start with the bottom one and try and catch a majority of it in my bucket here. I'm gonna assume it'll all just flow down. I know it's not gonna get all of it out of the motor itself, but at least trying to drain the radiator. It's a start. So pull those clamps off down there, just like this one, I guess. I don't know. See what happens. See how easy this thing will just pull off. Oh boy. I really want to try avoid making a mess, but yeah, you'll have that on them big jobs. Oh. Here she comes. That is a beautiful color. All right, I'll let that drain. Jeez. Let a little bit of air through it. Yeah. Yep. Pops and I are making quick work of dismantling. Radiator's out, we got the power steering pump, we got the battery tray out. Cross your fingers. It's actually not going that bad. So nothing seems to be breaking, nothing seems to be just being impossible. But me saying that's probably jinxing us. So we're gonna keep moving, work on getting the rest of this junk off. Maybe we can get this motor out of here sooner than later. All right, time to take the rad support off. Just gotta break these giant ass bolts loose. Man, these things are rusty. Look at that. Now, if my calculations are correct, all right, rad support is officially off. All this extra room for activities. I don't know what to do now. I think I'm going to try and go through and get all of the extra junk off that I believe would be connected elsewhere. Not too concerned because none of this is getting reused engine-wise.
Obviously, the brake master and stuff like that will stay.
All right, a little update with where we're at. I'm currently trying to fish the mess that is the wiring harness out. I've gotten the majority of it down and off of the engine, with the exception of maybe a few things. I'm just working on feeding it back through, you know, working with whatever mess this is. So I'm gonna try and finish getting this off. I might actually have somebody who would be interested in buying this whole setup, so I'm gonna try my best to keep it. So I'm gonna try and get the rest of this wire harness out, as it is absolutely everywhere, and then we'll get back to trying to get the engine itself out.
Cleaner?
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't have to go back in. Look how much cleaner the engine bay looks without this ugly wiring harness going through it. We're making good progress here. So far, stuff has been coming out fairly easy. Now with the wiring harness out, just start disconnecting anything that connects the engine and the transmission to the hull as a truck.
Okay, it's a new day. And we made some good progress
on getting the engine out of this bad boy. And she's all but ready to come out. I believe it's just the motor mount bolts, and then whatever's holding in the transmission
is what needs to come out.
Got the cherry picker over here.
And just sort of evaluate the whole situation, see what we need to do to get this bad boy out. It's coming out today.
All right, let's take a peek here, see what we're getting into.
2 hours later.
Oh, all right, hours later. I finally got the drive shaft pulled out of the rear. Oh my God, what a pain in the butt. And then I got this part pulled out of the back end of the transmission.
Oh, so I think the last real step, get the engine hoist in here, hook it up, and then I'm just gonna go through and start loosening and see what's gonna come of it. I don't really know. This is the first time I've pulled a motor. Just check through everything, make sure she's ready to come out. I gotta loosen the cross member bolts to free up the transmission. Then we'll kind of see what happens. All right, I think, don't quote me on that. Never really pulled an engine before. It's not working. And then eventually I feel like it should just move. So we're gonna roll with that. Awesome. Yeah, it's just been one stupid thing after another. But I think we're finally ready. Slide this bad boy in here. Maybe. Get her hooked up.
One eternity later.
I gotta
Just pop it out.
here. Oh, I was gonna jack it up and open it out.
What do you think?
I think. Are we against the firewall?
You might have to lower it.
No, there. You were against something. We're pulling the whole truck.
Yeah, we're against the cross member down here. You need to go up. Need to make sure it's should be past this cross member here. Hold on. Yeah. Yep, I see what we're stuck on.
Oh, is that
Clutch.
the clutch?
Yep, we would just scoot along with the jack of the transmission.
Can you leave that down? Or no?
Let's see how it acts.
You might have to just go up on the front there. Ready? I'm gonna just watch it.
Oh, come on. Alright. It's reaching the cross member.
Huh?
Now it's reaching the cross member. You go up. Then we get all the world now. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Losing the fluid.
Oh my God, it just flown out.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, we'll clean it up then. You gotta remember to put fluid back in it. That's all.
Damn it.
There.
Oh, just against that other motor.
Yep.
It's just.
Wonder if can we do this thing?
Oh. Bring it up.
Can you come out with it or no?
Oh, yeah.
All right, exciting. It might not look like it, but this thing is out. We're calling it for a day. I've been at this for hours. The thing is out. Tomorrow the transmission needs to be separated. I'm gonna probably take and maybe strip the alternator off because I could probably use that. But the engine is going away. So tomorrow will be a new day. See you then. All right, good morning. It is day 3 of now working on pulling the engine out of the shop truck. And it's pretty clear to me the engine is out of the shop truck. So the goal for today is to be done with anything related to pulling the engine out of this thing. The engine is being sold and the wiring harness. The transmission stays. So let's get these two separated and then we'll take a look at what else we're going into. I can definitely say that pulling this engine it's something I've never experienced before. To say I worked hard to get this thing out is an understatement. I'm proud of myself to have accomplished something like this that I've never done before. All right, so here's the deal. I need to separate this transmission. Last night we were just about ready to start pulling this thing out. And we had one heck of a thunderstorm come through. Got a little wet, to say the least. Now I need to get this one off here, which isn't even tight. There's nothing holding this one in. What in the world? Oh. Oh boy. Oh, we have separation. Okay, this bell housing does in fact come off, which is a good thing, because it needs to be swapped to a small block bell housing. That'll come later down the road. I'm deeming this the water with the engine with infinite coolant, because no matter what I do, this coolant tube keeps falling out of where I place it, and it just dumps a gallon every damn time. There it is. All right, so that is the engine and the transmission separated. I think that's probably where we're going to leave it for now. Like I said, the engine is getting sold along with the ECU and the wiring harness. That is getting sold away, and the guy is actually giving me a small block bell housing for this transmission, so that's what I need. So I'm going to get this thing loaded up, probably in the back of the truck on this tire. I need to find a place to put this, and that's going to pretty much do it for this combo. And then we'll move on to this area right here. But before we even get remotely close to touching this area, obviously I want to get it pressure washed, and a lot of it does need some attention. I need to get the truck out of my garage and clean up, because it is a mess. There's bolts and tools and junk just absolutely everywhere. Let's get this stuff moved away, and we'll get to working on getting this engine loaded and getting the garage cleaned up, because it is an absolute mess hole. You know, can we just take a minute to admire the paint on this thing? How good that color looks. It just looks amazing. You know, you get a little discouraged sometimes when things don't go right. You know, I look at this thing and I just have to remind myself that this thing is going to be amazing when it's done. A blast to drive. And I just gotta think of all the smiles that it's gonna return to me, you know? It just goes to show that if you put your mind to anything and you enjoy what you do, you know, it doesn't really seem like hard work. All right, guys, that is it. The motor and transmission are pulled out of the Dakota. The next thing on the list, the rack and pinion need replaced on this truck. The firewall needs painted. The frame needs some attention. No rust, just some cleaning up and then some preventative. But we are well underway in getting this thing engine swapped. I have new frame mounts on order, which they're almost impossible to find. It seems to be a common denominator in this truck and doing anything I do. Frame mounts for the motor are ordered. I have a set of motor mounts for a V8. The frame mounts just were impossible to find. But other than that, a few other key things to get this thing ready to be swapped. I got the bell housing for the small block for the transmission, so that's ready and good to go. I just want to, like I said, go through and do some cleaning on the frame, and then I got some rust preventative spray paint kind of stuff to take care of that, so that'll be in the next episode. So if I have any advice for you to take from this video,
anybody out there looking to do something like this, you can do whatever you put your mind to if you're determined enough and you have the time and resources, which if I can, there's no reason that you can't. I was able to pull this engine by myself. You know, I had a little help from Pops here and there for some muscle, but it really wasn't that difficult of a process. You learn as you go. Proud of myself to have gotten this far, but there is a lot of work to go. But any progress forward is okay with me, and we just got to keep working on your stuff. That's something I've always said. You know, anytime I'm sitting around, I'm thinking, what can I be doing to be working and progressing on what I need to complete. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. Comment down below whatever you're working on, and if you're stuck on something, and maybe we can start something in the comments. If you need some help, we can bounce it around everybody and see what we got going on. Thank you all for support. Thank you so much for watching. Get out there, work on your stuff, work on your shit, and get it done. Subscribe if you are new, helps with the channel a lot, and it's completely free. Helps me show that you guys are interested in what I have going on. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon with more on the shop truck. More exciting things to come.